Hello, and welcome to the RealRam fam. On my channel, I intend to provide you with a safe platform to discuss the intersections of your entire being, to be able to be comfortable in your own skin, in mission or position. There is no one like you, and we all have a purpose and message. I, for one, am a black woman, mother of four, a military veteran, and a wife, and a social worker, just to name a few. From my channel, I hope that you learn more about military families and social workers. Three of the social work values are my aim in each video: importance of human relationships, dignity and worth of the person, and social justice. No matter what you initially think when you hear social worker, there is more to the profession. Trust me. Stay locked in by subscribing to the channel, and be sure that you hit that notifications bell so you don't miss any new uploads. Without further ado, on to today's episode. What's up? What's going on, RealRam fam? So I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of time to catch up with me. I ain't gonna talk about too much of nothing. I got a couple of topics that I'm going to talk with y'all about. And depending on how many viewers we get, how much participation I get, will determine how long we go. But I want to talk about the fact that I have a son who's getting ready to graduate from high school. So those of you who have already gone through that, hey, I am open to your suggestions, your inputs, your experiences. If there's anyone watching who is about to graduate and you have any questions, suggestions, or inputs on how you would want your parent to behave, or questions you have, how is your selection of colleges going, or are you applying for jobs? What's the process looking like for you? I also want to talk about the fact that Carolyn Bryant, she's still alive. Emmitt Till is not. And there's a petition. I signed it. I think that you should sign it as well to get her charged in the murder. Have you been watching Women of the Movement? I watched that show. I just finished the last episode last night. So I'm taking my time watching it throughout this tiring week. And it was very, very interesting. You know, when we're in school, we only learn so much. And nowadays, they're trying to erase the little bit that we do know and that we were taught. And they're talking about burning books again. That's mostly in Texas, right? Because that's a Texas thing. They always want to remove stuff. Also, I want to talk about the HBCUs that have received bomb threats right here in DC. UDC, Howard, and up in Baltimore, Morgan, but there's been more across the country. And so, why this month? Why in the month of February? We shouldn't be doing it at all. Why are you targeting Black colleges? And those who are persons of interest, why were they described as tech savvy? They were minors and they're being charged with hate crimes. So I'm very curious to know, why is this the description? We know that whenever the persons of interest are Black or of color, that is in the description. 3 Black teens, 4 Hispanic teens, like it's in there. But these are tech savvy. What's going on there? And then also, I mean, there's just so much that has been happening. Also, Whoopi Goldberg, she's been disciplined. And for 2 weeks, she will not be on The View for her comment of saying that the Holocaust was not about race. And I'm sure there was a little bit more to it, right? But when are Black people going to put up such a fuss in the same way that the Jews have? When are we going to come together in that same fashion? You better not offend a Jew or the Jewish people or the Jewish religion and think that you're going to get away with it. There's nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. The Jews continue to teach about everything that they have gone through. When are Black people going to get on that same page and not just complain? Just complain. There's some people who are like, we need to get rid of the use of the N word, and then there are other people who are like, no, we're not going to let other people hold the power. But my point in saying is that they have such a strong force. I learned about a little bit more about this on SiriusXM. I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't really like his name being said, but on SiriusXM. And he didn't even want to touch the story because he said she got in trouble for saying specifically that the Holocaust was not about race. So it's because she said that line that's why she's in trouble. So when people deny slavery, when they deny racism, when they deny that the master raped their slaves, why do we not put up the same amount of energy and fuss? And in the same fashion, and in this same week, Joe Rogan has been in a little tizzy. And some people on the other end are like, he has a freedom of speech. He has the freedom of speech to give out information that hasn't been validated. And then I also found out today that he's been in trouble because of his use of the N-word. And he felt that because he's been using it in context, it was okay. Again, some people want him removed and banned, but he is not. So why is it different when every time it's a Black person, we get the harsher treatment? That's what I want to know. And I would love to hear from you, your thoughts about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to jump right in. I'm 7 minutes in. I created a slideshow, but I couldn't figure out. I keep having computer problems or tech problems. Actually, you know what? I didn't really have a problem. I just was running late. I am not even going to lie. So I had some clients tonight, and I took my other son, to the mall today to celebrate his birthday earlier this week. He turned 9 years old. So we had a family day today. And then I came home and I had 2 clients, and I kind of went and put together this slideshow pretty quickly. But I want to share with you anyways, because I'm not going to let the events from this week deter the fact that I have been trying to do this subject for weeks now. It's been a while that I wanted to talk about having a high school graduate. And this is pretty important. So I'm going to share the screen. He may or may not get embarrassed, but I'm going to share with you anyway. Share my oldest baby with you. Okay. This is my oldest son. I hope you can see it. But this is my oldest son, David, on his first day of school. This was him in kindergarten. I'm not going to go through. I did not take the time to go and try to find every single picture. But all that is important is this is him in kindergarten. This is him and his brother when I believe he was in the first grade. If he wasn't in the first, then he was in the second because his brother was in kindergarten. So I guess he was in the second grade. So this is him again. First one was public school. This one was a private school. This is him at his first day at the private school. And a close-up of him. And you see his brother back there. Oh, you see him and his brother in the background back there. And now he is a high school. He hasn't graduated yet, but he is going to. We know that he is going to graduate. He is a senior at Cardozo Education Campus here in DC. He's got straight A's on an honor roll all the time. You know, he's got his community service hours. He's got colleges looking at him. He plays soccer. So where I'm at right now is when he started first talking to soccer coaches, actually, it was a college. You get this website, I think it's NCSA or whatever. And when the guy was talking to us, I got emotional. But as of right now, like I'm good. But when you're trying to guide your team on picking the college, that's where I am right now. And you want to kind of tell them what to do, but so this whole guiding process, just guiding and listening, because of course he wants to continue playing soccer. He wants to go to college on a athletic scholarship. And you know how we parents are. You got to have something to fall back on. So he's applied to some colleges through athletics. He's applied to some through his academics. He's gotten some acceptance offers, and so now it's like we don't want you to bust the deadlines. You gotta make a decision. Where are you going? So that's where we are. Those of you who have been through this, like, what's that experience like? And how do you talk to your child who wants to put their athletics ahead of their academics, right? Because you get a lot more college offers and you get a little further when you're going the academic route than the athletic route, correct? I don't know. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments on that. So, second order of business to talk about the bomb threats. So, like I said, right here in Washington, D.C., it was Howard, and it was UDC, and Morgan, just right up the road in Baltimore. So I pulled up two articles, so I can have my two sources, reliable sources, that says that the persons of interest, that they are minors. So we always know that minors do not get their names released. So that's point number one. But when you look at it, for what I have seen, when it's white minors, it always stays that way. Minors, or high school students, or athletes, whatever. It stays so general when they're white. That's how we know that they were not a person of color, because it always goes the other way. It's always black teen. Always that. Or even they try to poison it by saying two-time criminal or gang member or some previously charged or something like that, black Uber driver, something like that. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that, other than we want to get an education too. Black people, we do. We fought for our right to get an education. We fought for our rights to vote. We've marched. Our ancestors have bled and died for this. The founders of this country and even the white supremacists in this country, right, have said that they wanted us to be segregated from them. They didn't want the schools integrated. Okay, so that's what the HBCUs are for. So why would you bomb our schools? Why? What harm is that? So we apply to your institutions, and then people are accused of making it on affirmative action. Not because they're smart enough, but because there was a quota that needed to be filled. You don't belong here and all this other stuff. So why are you messing with our HBCUs? I just don't get it. What harm are our schools doing for you? Because we're teaching Black culture, or because nowadays people are coming up and talking about this critical race theory? So you think that the HBCUs is where you need to start to prevent this from happening? Like, I just Help me understand here, people. I don't know. So I'm going to move on from that and go on straight into the Emmitt Till. Like I said, I just finished watching Women of the Movement. Being from the Midwest myself, we are a little bit different. And trying to go down south and behave the way Southerners behave, even today, that's a little bit difficult. So I can only imagine. I can barely even imagine how back in the 50s it was for a teenage boy to go from Chicago to down south and have to have this whole new demeanor. And apparently, right, I'm not gonna act like I know everything about Emmitt Till and his family, but the way that this docuseries made it out to be, this was like his first time even going down there, right? This is his first time being down south. This was his first time ever leaving his mom. So he really don't know how to act. So he goes down there. Oh, and if you watched it, what made me mad before he even walked in the store, it made me mad because, okay, yes, teens are going to be teens, kids are going to be kids, boys are going to be boys, right? That's what we always say. The boys that was outside of the store, and maybe this is fictional, I don't know, right? Because you always got to add a little bit of fiction when you put together a show or a documentary. When you're telling a story, you always got to add something to it. So if this is true, how they were talking to him before he went into the store, when they were like, I bet you won't ask her out, I bet you won't do, like, dude, y'all are from Mississippi. Y'all know how things are. Why would you even challenge that boy like that? You know that his behavior is not the same as yours. And him being 14 and younger, it was different ages out there, but he's gonna take that bet. You know that he is. So that right there, that wasn't even cool. And then they showed that he went into the store by himself. So if you're going to bet somebody to do something, at least one of you should go with them to even make sure that they do it and to even make sure that they don't get in trouble while they do it. That right there wasn't even cool. That wasn't cool. So, okay, move on. The story goes on and yada, yada. Now, if you saw how she got on that stand and the extra information that I learned, where she tried to say that he was so strong and he grabbed her and he was so strong and she couldn't get away from him. Oh my God. The amount of information that we all should know by now. We all should know how court cases are done, how lawyers should be cross-examining. I would say on that part right there, the lawyers did a bad job. They did a bad job because they should be trying to figure out like how strong he was versus how strong she is. Like they should have got another like 14-year-old who measures up, even if they got a white one. But black boys are so much stronger, so they had to go get another black one. So they should have gotten another black 14-year-old who matches about the same height and weight as Emmitt to see if she could get out of his grasp. Because all that extra information that she said, and they just ran with it. Oh. And then on the last episode where I watched that the Mr. Bryant and the other guy was telling their story. I don't know who, to the newspaper or a book or something like that. One guy did all the talking. I just love how TV plays out. So he's doing the talking and they're playing, in the foreshadowing in the back, and as we're seeing what is actually happening. the way he lied. You tell me this, those of you who are lawyers, those of you who do know how the law works, you may not be a lawyer, but you know how the law works. The fact that Mr. Bryant was sitting there listening to the story be told, right? While the other guy sitting there telling all those lies about what actually happened, and he's not saying anything, what do you think should happen, if anything? He has the right to remain silent. We know that. We know he has the right to remain silent. He's already been cleared of charges, and that's why that's why the guy was talking, because of the double jeopardy. But if you're going to talk and you tell a lie and the other person is not denying the lie, what is that? What is that? I'm curious to know about that, and if there's anything that should be done. Now, today, now that Miss Bryant has admitted that she told a lie, I believe that she should be charged, because none of this would happen if it was not for her lie. Now, even when I say that, we got to think about back then, because even as we watch the show, she's not even the one who sparked this, right? Her actions of running outside of that store with the gun did spark something, because people heard, people knew, right? But it was the town. It was the town that got the talking. So when her husband came back, he heard about something, and he was like mad at her that, why didn't you tell me? She said, because I took care of it. So people were talking before she even said anything to her husband. So even when we back it up, is it really her fault? Or is it the town's fault? Is it the times that a whole town can talk about something, and that white folks specifically can talk about something about a black person, and then everyone goes on a rampage? Because that is how a lot of revolutions and things get started, off of the word and the times of the town. Is even if we think about January 6th, now that I think about it, just because Trump said something, and you think about the times, like Trump taking people back into times, he said something and that started a revolution. But I think here's the difference. All of these events, that the civil rights, right? Medgar Evers, that happened in his town, right? Emmitt Till, that happened in the town where he went to go visit, and all of our other things. The abolitionists that got killed on the highway, but it all happened in their states. Whereas the January 6th insurrection, these people came from everywhere. They came from all over. Is it different because DC is the capital? Why is it okay that people got to travel from all over to come and destroy DC? What is it? It can't be because this is the capital. It can only lead us back to racism that empowered, because Kyle Rittenhouse, again, he crossed state borders as well. Had the protest happen in his state, and he brought a gun there to protect himself, so he thought, because that area, like the hood, that's not his area, but he crossed state borders, and yet he got off. Why is that? Y'all help me understand that topic. I want to on to the next and final topic for tonight. again, I dip into the punishments that Black people receive versus other people. Now, if you're new to my channel, I am not a Christian. I do practice Judaism. So I do not have a problem whatsoever with the way that Jews keep their memory. Well, I do the same thing. We do Shabbat. We do the yard site. We do all of that stuff. What I'm saying is, as Black people, we have these moments, and then we have our little pockets here and there of change that we want to see. And we want to tear down somebody else. Like Reverend Sharpton has been in this game for a long time. And some people say that he hasn't done anything or he hasn't done much. It depends on who you ask and how you look at it. But the fact is that he's been in this game a long time. The NAACP has been in this a long time. So these little pockets that we have, they can't just be one person, right? So we got pockets nowadays, and we say we should ban the use of the N-word within our own community and broader. There's some people who are saying that it should have never left the hip-hop community. Some folks say that we take the word back and we give it power, or we give it a different meaning. Now, I know when I was younger, I said it. I say it in context sometimes. But if the word is so powerful, why does our movement stop there? And why is it only about the use of that word? Why are we not making a bigger deal about microaggressions, about accepting our natural hair, about accepting the fact that our bone structure is different? You know, I heard on Clubhouse today, and sometimes I find Clubhouse to be very troublesome. It is. But I was listening in a room today, and this girl said white presenting. And she said for herself, that's what she prefers because she has multiple races. And then she said Black. So someone came in and then they said to her, why do people say Black? Why is it white presenting, but then Black? So why don't we say Black presenting? That's an actual question. Why don't we say Black presenting? Because someone else says that we're African Americans and Black. Why can't we be Black presenting also? Because if a white presenting person gets to say, I'm multiracial, or I'm Italian, I'm Jewish, I'm whatever, and there are some Africans who will say, I'm not Black. There are some dark-skinned Puerto Ricans or Dominicans or whatever who will say, I'm not Black. So why can't we say Black presenting? That was an interesting question that I just segued on. But I think that Black people should make a bigger deal about our respect, just like the Jews do, just like the Native Americans do. We got to come together and agree upon something, especially if you all want to try to build a case about why we should have reparations. You can't get reparations when there's still so much racism in this country. But two, we can't even agree on how we should be treated, we definitely can't agree on how we should be rewarded, or rewarded isn't the right word, but how we should be repaid for the suffering. Jews got it together. They got their forms of reparations. Then they got Hebrew schools, and they got museums. And there's a banned word. If you say a word that is offensive to the Jews, you're gonna pay fines. Like, it's set. Black folks, we don't got nothing. All we got is complaints. We'll complain and we try to get somebody removed, and cancel culture nowadays. We'll try to cancel somebody. But it don't work because they have more power than us. Unless it's something that somebody else can jump on. Like Whoopi Goldberg, because she offended the Jews. Bill Cosby can be canceled because of rape. Michael B. Jordan canceled because of rape. And then his movie didn't even get the views that it should have gotten, because someone else can jump onto that. When you're talking about rape, other people can jump onto that. When you're talking about LGBT, other people can jump onto that. When you're talking about sexism, other people can jump onto that. But when it's an all complete Black issue, we can't. What can you do? Because there are some people who are like, they don't care about the natural hair because they want to keep putting chemicals. There are some people who don't care about the use of the N word. They go around calling each other bees and hoes. So we can't come together. So I think on that, pretty much is all that I have for tonight. But I definitely would love to have a part 2 when I'm not here by myself. And we can have a little bit of back and forth to talk about this. To talk about all these topics. So this has been RealRam TLee. Hit me up in the comments. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. Next month in March, I will do another game night. But you got to stay tuned. You got to keep watching through the month of February so that we can get there. As I said, like every other month, I'm going to try to do game night. Okay? So comment on this, all the topics. Let me know what you think. You know? I want to hear. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. I would like to thank my guests for joining me, or simply thank you for watching the pre-recorded episode. No matter what your birth order is, how you self-identify, and whether you like pancakes or waffles. If this is the first time you're hearing it today, I want you to know that you are loved. You were put here for a purpose that only you can fulfill. Until next time, take care of yourself. Be sure that you like and share the videos, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. This is RealRam out.